Packet Pushers went to AutoCon Zero in November 2023 and asked 10 IT professionals, should the long-term goal for network automation be self-service?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I think that enabling people to provision services on top of the network without having to talk to a crusty engineer like me is good. People know what they want a lot of times, and so being able to give them the ability to do that, and if you've written good software, it'll have all the right bounds and checks in there so that they can't do something harmful to the network or harmful to themselves.
I do. And that's, for some people, I think that's going to be very uncomfortable. Because I think some people in the industry right now are still very comfortable being, oh, I am the go-to person for doing all of the things related to networking. And giving up that or stepping back from that can be uncomfortable for, I think it's going to be a uncomfortable shift for certain individuals or a certain group of people within the networking community.
Self-service, not for the end user or stakeholder, but self-service, I believe, for the operator or the engineer. For example, if I log into a Google Cloud Platform or Amazon Web Services, if I'm configuring the cloud router or the transit gateway, okay, I still have to understand how BGP works and how routing works, but I don't need to know what's going on in the background or what commands are being run on the GCP endpoints to make it work. So self-service in the sense that the network engineer should still be able to provision the services, but in a much more abstracted way.
In some cases, yes. I don't think that's a thing that will work for every company in every situation, but if it's something simple that you can absolutely get the network guys out of the way, why not?
Should is a dangerous question. I think that's one of the most likely outcomes, but it's too organization specific. I think automation can become heavily abstracted, and if organizations want to go one step further to provide self-service for themselves or their users, great for them, but I wouldn't go too far and say it should be the end goal for everyone.
Man, that's a tricky question. You know, everyone's automation journey is very different. And I don't know as if you can put one stake in the ground and say, that's where we want to get to. If your whole world is just simply automating interface device descriptions and that's all you do, that's fine, and that can be your end goal. I think the more important point is to have an end goal in mind and drive towards that end goal, whatever that may be.
Yeah, I think, I don't think it'll ever be 100% self-service, but, one of the projects we worked on was doing some chat ops through Slack and had these non-network engineers able to like change ports and change VLANs. Are they configuring trunks from Slack? No, they're not, but they are able to do the stuff that they care about, and tremendous reception when we did that. And so things like that show you that there is a lot to self-service and there's a lot of value there, but there's always going to be an underlying, high-level architectural stuff that self-service won't handle.
I think that is a great goal for network automation. Making the network be a resource accessible to the people who need the network resources, that is exactly what automation should be enabling.
100%. Absolutely. That was one of my first network automation experimentations, was every day, every week, someone comes to me or another member of the internal IT team and says, I need a lab network. I have to go in and manually do those. Wouldn't it just be easier if they can go request lab VLAN and it just pre-deploys all of that stuff? That's how I started my ideas of automation. Like, wait a second, I'm configuring the same 5 things every time over and over. It needs to be a self-service model. The network could be a self-service thing, and it's not today. It takes high-paid engineers to do it because it's not simplified.
That's a business decision that you have to have as a operator or as how you run your business, and whether that's important and how important the networking is for your business. Huh? My view is that we should think that way because from the cloud perspective is to make networks consumable, because the effort that you have to put in place to sustain it and so on and so forth will be way lower than if you do so than if you don't. And building these systems around it to make it consumable for me is essential. That doesn't mean that you have to rely on someone to do it for you, but you should think yourself in a way how you would consume it yourself, even if it's a very important aspect for your business.